Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Grow Lounge. It's funny because getting ready for today, I was thinking about how we're diving into something that I am just awful at.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, I can't say no to save my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's that guilt monster, that just latches on anytime I even think about turning something down.
Oh, tell me about it.
And I know I can't be the only one,
Yeah,
right? It's got to be something we all struggle with to some extent.
you're definitely not alone.
Right.
Saying no can be tough for a lot of people, and it's something we hear about all the time.
So today we're getting into the art of saying no without the guilt trip.
That's right.
We'll unpack why it's so hard, and most importantly, how to actually do it without turning to a hermit and, ditching all your friends.
Exactly.
So let's just get right into it. Have you ever noticed how, the second someone asks you for a favor, that little voice in your head starts screaming, say yes, say yes?
Well, 100%.
It's like we're programmed to people pleasers from the get-go.
It is interesting, and I think there's a very real psychological component to that.
Right.
On a deeper level, that guilt we feel often comes from this fear.
Yeah.
This fear of damaging relationships or disappointing others.
It's so weird because, you would think being honest and upfront about your limits would actually make relationships stronger,
Right.
not weaker.
Exactly.
It's like the opposite of what we're conditioned to believe.
It really is. And it's funny that you mentioned that because there's a researcher, Dr. Brene Brown,
Oh, yeah, I love her.
who has done a ton of work on vulnerability and shame.
Yes.
And she actually found that people who set clear boundaries have healthier relationships.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about respecting yourself
Okay.
and respecting the other person by being upfront.
Boundaries are good for everyone. Got it.
Exactly.
But how do we actually put this into practice? What do you actually say when your boss is asking you to take on yet another project, or a friend wants to meet up when you're completely drained?
Right. It's like, give me a break.
Totally.
And that's where getting specific can be super helpful.
Okay.
So instead offering vague excuses or kind of beating around the bush, try using phrases like, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not able to take on anything new right now.
Well, I like that.
Or, I'm committed to existing priority at the moment,
Yeah.
It's direct, but it's also respectful.
Yeah, no, that's good.
You're acknowledging their request
Yeah.
while also firmly stating your boundaries.
See, this is good because I feel like I over-explain.
Yeah.
I write a whole essay in my head of reasons why I can't do something,
Right, you don't need to do it.
which honestly probably makes the other person feel worse, like I don't trust them or something.
Yeah, you're right.
That I need to over-justify myself, which I gotta do, which is probably the problem in the first place.
It's a common trap we fall into.
Totally.
But the reality is, you don't owe anyone a justification.
Really?
A simple, thank you, but that doesn't work for me, is perfectly acceptable. You're blowing my mind right now.
I know, it's simple, but it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's true.
You have the right to decline anything that doesn't align with your priorities or your well-being.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing.
No, I get it.
Just a clear and respectful no.
So what about those situations where you do feel like you have to give a reason, though? Like maybe it's a family thing or something you would genuinely love to do, but you just can't swing it this time.
Right?
Do you still just keep it brief?
Even then, you can keep it brief
Yeah.
and honest.
Okay.
Things like, I wish I could, but I've already got a commitment that day.
Yeah.
Or, I'm really focusing on self-care right now, so I need to decline. Those work well.
Okay.
The key is to be firm and clear without over-explaining.
So it's more about just setting that boundary
Yes.
and holding that space for yourself.
Exactly. You're not being selfish. You're prioritizing your well-being so you can show up as your best self. I'm starting to realize this is more about self-respect than anything else.
100%.
If you can't respect your own limits, how could you expect anyone else to?
Exactly. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable.
Yeah.
And you get to choose how you spend them.
That's actually really empowering
It is.
to think about it that way.
And it's not about rejecting people.
Right.
It's about creating healthy, sustainable relationships where everyone feels respected.
Totally. So to wrap this up, saying no isn't about being rude or rejecting people.
Right.
It's about honoring your own needs.
Yes.
And creating those healthy, sustainable relationships we were talking about.
Absolutely. And as you go forward, just think about this. Where could a well-placed no make the biggest difference in your life right now? What could you create space for?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to journal on that one.
Definitely.
And hey, if you're ready to dive even deeper into personal growth and well-being, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Uplift Space.
Yes. We've got tons of great content over there
Tons.
to help you on your journey.
Thanks for joining us here in the Grow Lounge.
It's been great chatting.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Too.